Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today we are breaking down 3 S-tier solo hybrid builds for Title Update 20, which includes the best gear pieces, weapons, specializations, and playstyle for each setup. These builds are designed to offer self-healing capabilities with exceptional damage at the same time, and we achieve this by creating builds that utilize skill tiers, red core attributes, and powerful talents to eliminate enemies. These builds are for anyone that wants high survivability, tons of damage, and access to powerful healing skills. Just a friendly reminder, the free BENQ monitor giveaway ends February 22nd. If you want the chance to win an EX2710S monitor, which features a 27-inch display, 1 millisecond response time, and 165 Hz, click the link in the description and comment section below. The more entries you submit, the higher your chances are of winning. Good luck, everyone. This first hybrid build incorporates one of the best weapons and exotics in the game, with high damage talents and self-healing brand sets to create one of the most powerful and well-rounded healer DPS hybrids in the Division 2. The main weapon on this build is the St. Elmos engine exotic assault rifle, which comes equipped with 70 rounds in the magazine, high crit chance and crit damage weapon mods, and the Actum talent, which fills your magazine with shock ammo at 100 stacks. This build currently has 54% crit hit chance and 173% crit hit damage thanks to the exotic Coyotes mask and some much needed crit stats on our gear. On top of all those crits, your damage output will be even stronger thanks to the talents on the build. Obliterate increases your weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 25 times. This means every time you crit, your weapon damage will increase. To increase damage even further, we are utilizing the Unstoppable Force talent on the backpack to stack weapon damage by 5% per enemy killed, stacking up to 5 times. This means at max stacks with Obliterate and Unstoppable Force, you're looking at 50% extra weapon damage on your build. The healing capabilities on this build are great thanks to the skill tiers and brand sets, which increase repair skills and incoming repairs for your agent. This build has the perfect balance of heals and damage. The best specialization for this build is Technician. It unlocks an extra skill tier for your build, which is essential for increasing the effectiveness of your repair skills. You deal 12% extra damage to drones and robotics, and you also unlock 10% extra skill healing. For the primary weapon, the St. Elmos engine exotic assault rifle. 850 RPM, 70 rounds in the magazine, 14% extra weapon damage thanks to expertise, max AR damage, health damage, and damage to targets out of cover, and the Actum talent. Shooting an enemy with this weapon will give 1 stack. At 100 stacks, the next magazine will be 100% filled with shock ammo. Currently on this weapon, I have 54% crit hit chance and 173% crit hit damage. For my secondary, Expertise 15 FAMAS, 15% extra weapon damage, max assault rifle damage, health damage, and damage to targets out of cover with the Future Perfect talent. Weapon kills grant 1 skill tier for 15 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Weapon kills at skill tier 6 grant overcharge for 15 seconds with a 90-second cooldown. This talent is incredible for hybrid builds. Since we currently have 4 skill tiers in the build, all we have to do is eliminate 3 enemies to overcharge our healing skills, which is going to make your heals even more powerful for a short period of time. Even though the overcharge cooldown is 90 seconds, it's still an incredible asset to the build. I switch to this weapon whenever my cooldown is over to take advantage of those insane healing buffs. For the sidearm, I'm using the TDI Card Custom Pistol, which comes equipped with an extra skill tier for your build, and the Reformation talent. Keep in mind, you only obtain the extra skill tier when you have the pistol equipped in your hand. The Reformation talent fits perfectly on this build because it increases the repair skills on your build by 30% for 15 seconds every time you land a headshot. For my first gear piece, I'm using the exotic Coyotes mask. Max weapon damage, crit chance, and crit hit damage with a max crit damage mod. The Pack Instincts talent increases your crit chance and or crit damage based on the distance that you are from the last target you hit. When you're shooting enemies within 15 meters, you can expect 200% crit hit damage on the build since we already have 175%. When you're shooting from range, your crit chance will always be maxed out. For the chest piece, Fenris Group AB, which adds 10% assault rifle damage to your build. Max weapon damage, crit chance, and crit hit damage with a max crit damage mod. For the talent, Obliterate, which was just recently buffed in Title Update 20. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 25 times. Next, the named Picaro's holster with 1 skill tier, 6% crit hit chance, and 15% extra weapon damage, which rolls exclusively onto this named item. This piece alone is adding a skill tier and a red core to your build simultaneously. Next, Alp Summit Backpack, which adds 20% repair skills to your build thanks to the one piece bonus. You can see here 1 skill tier, crit hit damage, 20% repair skills, and a max crit hit damage mod. For the talent, Unstoppable Force, which increases your weapon damage by 5% for 15 seconds after every single enemy and stacks up to 5 times, adding up to a total of 25% extra weapon damage. For the gloves, Richter and Kaiser brand set, which unlocks 20% incoming repairs, making your healing skills even stronger. 1 skill tier, 20% repair skills, and 10.7% crit hit damage. And lastly, Grupo Sombra knee pads, which add 15% extra crit hit damage to your build. I have max weapon damage, 10.6% crit hit damage, and max crit chance. For the first healing skill, I'm using the Fixer Drone. At tier 5 with the pistol equipped, you're looking at 100% armor repair, 66 HP per second, and 350% health. This skill is great because it stays active for almost 4 minutes and follows you around to give you those bursts of healing that you need. For the second skill, the Restorer Hive, which is definitely the best and most consistent healing skill in the game. 220k healing at skill tier 5, and after you overcharge it using the Future Perfect talent on your secondary weapon, you can expect a huge radius buff and 150% extra skill haste so you can regenerate your charges very quickly. These skills paired together are more than capable of keeping your agent alive even during the toughest engagements. This next build combines one of the best DPS gear sets with the Future Perfect talent to create one of the most versatile hybrid builds in the Division 2. Thanks to the Ninja Bike backpack, we can achieve 5 red cores on this build for maximum damage, as well as 3 skill tiers for skill efficiency. The main weapon on this build is the FAMAS with Future Perfect. Weapon kills grant 1 skill tier for 15 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Weapon kills at skill tier 6 grant overcharge for 15 seconds with a 90-second cooldown. This build is set up for very high DPS thanks to the Striker's Gamble 4-piece bonus when using the Striker's Battle gear set. After killing 3 enemies, you'll be able to maintain 6 skill tiers consistently while activating an overcharge every 90 seconds while using Future Perfect. This means your Fixer Drone and Mender Seeker Mine will have more skill power and provide more potent heals for your agent. This build can be played aggressively or defensively depending on your motives. If you want to hold your ground and defend an area, you'll be able to achieve max Striker's Gamble stacks very quickly while your Fixer Drone and Mender Seeker Mine keep you alive. For more aggressive players, the quicker you build your Striker stacks, the more lethal you will be. With an aggressive playstyle, you'll be able to push enemies and utilize your heals while playing your angles to shred through enemy health bars. For the specialization, I'm using Survivalist. You gain access to fire grenades, 10% protection from elites, 10% skill haste while in cover, and the Mender Seeker Mine skill. The main weapon on the build, Expertise 15 FAMAS, max weapon damage, health damage, and damage to targets out of cover with the Future Perfect talent. Weapon kills grant 1 skill tier for 15 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Weapon kills at skill tier 6 grant overcharge for 15 seconds with a 90-second cooldown. After killing 3 enemies, you'll be able to maintain 6 skill tiers consistently while activating an overcharge every 90 seconds. For my secondary, the exotic Scorpio shotgun, an incredible weapon for named enemies and rogue agents. Shooting a target with this shotgun applies status effect stacks that include poison, shock, and disorient. When you hit max stacks, targets take 20% extra damage from all sources. And for my sidearm, a custom PF45 pistol with the Sledgehammer talent. Dealing damage with a grenade applies a mark on target. Marked targets will take 30% more damage to armor and receive a movement speed debuff. With the survivalist specialization, the fire grenades have a wide radius and can help you apply sledgehammer a lot easier. For my mask, the first piece of Striker's battle gear with max weapon damage and crit chance with a max crit chance mod. The 2-piece bonus of Strikers unlocks 15% weapon handling, the 3-piece unlocks 15% rate of fire, and the 4-piece bonus unlocks Striker's Gamble. Weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%, stacking up to 100 times. Next, Fenris Group AB chest piece, which adds 10% assault rifle damage and 30% extra reload speed thanks to the Ninja Bike backpack. We have max weapon damage, crit chance, and crit hit damage with the Unbreakable talent. When your armor is depleted, repair 95% armor with a 60-second cooldown. This talent is great for survivability because it adds an extra layer of protection for close-range engagements. I also have the Picaro's holster that unlocks 10% skill haste and an extra skill tier with the 2-piece bonus. I have 1 skill tier core attribute with max crit chance and 15% extra weapon damage. After that, we have the best gear piece on the build, the exotic Ninja Bike backpack. This unique exotic comes equipped with all 3 core attributes and a special talent called Resourceful, which slots in with any gear set or brand set to help you unlock an additional gear piece bonus. Next, Striker's gloves with max weapon damage and crit hit damage. And lastly, Striker's knee pads with max weapon damage and crit hit damage. For the skills, Fixer Drone and Mender Mine, which provide useful bursts of healing. The Survivalist specialization lets you equip a 15% healing mod and 15% health mod on your Mender Seeker Mine, which increases its efficiency even further. You also can't forget that each skill can be overcharged every 90 seconds thanks to the Future Perfect talent. This last build uses one of the most powerful exotic backpacks in the Division 2 to help you stack tons of weapon damage and skill efficiency with ease. The backpack I'm referring to is the Memento Exotic Backpack. The Kill Confirmed talent drops trophies on kill for each enemy you defeat, with each trophy offering short-term and long-term buffs, which increase your max weapon damage and healing skill efficiency. Since we have 4 red core attributes on this build, and 4 skill tiers, each trophy you collect will increase your weapon damage and skill efficiency by 20% for 10 seconds. In addition to the short-term buffs, every trophy you collect stacks 1% weapon damage, 1% skill efficiency, and 0.1% armor regen for 300 seconds, stacking up to 30 times. The skill efficiency bonuses on this build are great because skill efficiency increases your repair skills, skill haste, and skill duration for both of your healing skills. In addition to the kill confirmed weapon damage buffs, we also have an Expertise 16 Police M4 assault rifle with flatline. To increase damage even further, we combine the flatline talent with the spotter talent, which adds tons of amplified damage to pulse targets. Thanks to the technician specialization, we can access the linked laser pointer attachment, which pulses every enemy you aim at, making that additional damage from flatline and spotter basically effortless. For the specialization, you want to use Technician. It adds an extra skill tier to your build, you deal 12% extra weapon damage to drones and robotics, and you unlock the linked laser pointer attachment, which pulses every enemy you aim at. For my primary weapon, Expertise 16 Police M4 assault rifle with max weapon damage, health damage, and damage to targets out of cover with the flatline talent. Amplifies weapon damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. After 4 kills, applies pulse to the next enemy that you hit. For my secondary, I like to use the exotic Eagle Bearer assault rifle Expertise 16. This exotic is exclusive to the Dark Hours raid, and the only other place it can be obtained is the Dark Zone. I have max weapon damage, health damage, and damage to armor with the Eagle's Strike talent. Accuracy increases as you continuously fire up to 30%. Headshot kills grant the tenacity buff for 15 seconds. The strength of tenacity is increased by 1% for body shots and 5% for headshots. With tenacity, you can achieve nearly 100% damage negation as long as you are eliminating enemies quickly, and it's made very simple when you have powerful heals on the build. For the sidearm, I'm using the TDI Card Custom Pistol, which comes equipped with an extra skill tier for your build and the Reformation talent. This talent fits perfectly because it increases the repair skills on your build by 30% for 15 seconds every time you land a headshot. For my first gear piece, a Cheska mask, which adds 10% crit hit chance to the build. Currently on this build, I have 54% crit hit chance and almost 130% crit hit damage. On this mask, I have max weapon damage, max crit chance, 10.1% crit hit damage, and a max crit damage mod. Next, Fenris Group AB chest piece, which adds 10% assault rifle damage to your build. I have max weapon damage, crit chance, and crit hit damage, and a max crit hit damage mod with the Spotter talent. This talent amplifies total weapon damage even further by 15% to pulsed enemies. Next, Piccaro's holster with 1 skill tier, max crit chance, and a 15% weapon damage attribute, which is exclusive to this named item. The best piece on the build is the exotic Memento backpack. This special piece of gear comes equipped with all 3 core attributes. The Kill Confirm talent drops trophies on kill for each enemy you defeat, with each trophy offering short-term and long-term buffs for your agent. Since we have 4 red core attributes on this build and 4 skill tiers, each trophy you collect will increase your weapon damage and skill efficiency by 20% for 10 seconds. In addition to that, every trophy you collect stacks 1% weapon damage, 1% skill efficiency, and 0.1% armor regen for 300 seconds, stacking up to 30 times. Next, I'm using improvised gloves that I crafted at the White House. This unique piece of gear comes with a mod slot allowing me to stack more repair skills on top of the weapon damage and crits that I already have on the gloves. And the last piece, Alps Summit knee pads, which add 20% more repair skills to the build. I have 1 skill tier, max crit hit damage, and max repair skills. For the healing skills on this build, I'm using the best duo, the Fixer Drone and the Restorer Hive. Keep in mind that on top of the exceptional heals that you already have on the build, your heals will be continuously buffed with each trophy you collect while using the Memento exotic backpack. Thank you all so much for sticking around until the end and watching the whole video. I also want to thank you for helping me reach over 1,000 likes on my previous top 3 video, which I uploaded several days ago. That video includes the top 3 best solo DPS builds for Year 5 Season 3, and I highly recommend checking it out. If you want the chance to win a free monitor, don't forget to submit your entries before February 22nd. If you want to see more Division 2 videos coming soon, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on those bell notifications so you are notified every time I drop a new video.